is up, guys? Welcome to another Monkey Gang podcast. Today we're going to be talking about environmental rights.
Yes.
Monkey.
So to talk about several events in the past due to help environmental rights, that's a word. So the first law that was passed, it was in 1948 on January 1st, believe it or not. It says right here that legislation changed the water quality and it heightened restrictions so there would be a lot pure water for everybody to drink. Okay, and yeah, so then the next act after that would be the Air Pollution Control Act. This was passed by Congress in 1955, and it became the first piece of legislation to fight against air pollution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so then, in 1970, on January 1st, the NEP is established. This is the National Environmental Policy Act. This was signed into action by the man Richard Nixon himself to protect and preserve the environment, which he's a good guy.
Pretty smart idea.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, and so then in 1982, there was some whaling restrictions due to whaling turning into a restricted species. And this act is actually still in place today, and I don't think you're even allowed to whale anymore.
The whales.
Alaskans that do that for a living. Sorry.
And then in 2013, the Sierra Club was organized, which was a huge climate rally held so far. It was over dealing with carbon trading in everybody's carbon footprints. And after this, a bunch of nuclear power plants shut down to switch with cleaner ways to produce energy. And that's a brief history of the timeline over actions took for environmental rights. Actually, so now I guess we can talk about some of the interview and some of the topics we went over during that.
Pretty epic, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So we interviewed a lady named Michelle, and the main thing she was concerned about was
Migratory birds and endangered species.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Those things are important.
Very.
More or less, she just told us to keep our minds open to the idea that everything can't be changed overnight and that you have to press forward through it. It was a lot of problems.
Definitely.
We can't really fix right now, but I mean, if you just make sure that you minimize waste and dumping out in the nature, that, as the saying goes, just make it better than when you found it.
Yes.
All right, we're good.
All right, I'm ready whenever you guys are ready.
You guys want to take first question or no?
I can't see my questions, so.
Oh, here we go. Just take one.
What would lead someone to join your profession?
I think, by the way, I'm Michelle Fournier, Chippewa Nature Center. My title is Public Program Coordinator and Interpretive Naturalist. And I think most people get into this profession, whether it be, environmental education or environment in general, is just a passion for those things. Whether it is to make an impact on people's lives and connecting them to nature and in the environment, which in turn, of course, sometimes leads to a better environment itself. So definitely the passion and dedication, because I work at a nonprofit. People don't do what I do for the money.
Where would you say, geographically speaking, is the best place to have this job?
Ooh. So it's have you guys ever heard of jobs in nature centers before, or state parks? I mean, is this even a career field you kind of know anything about?
Say a tiny
So
bit.
interpret
Say
a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah, not that much.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't go to school this was not my end goal, let's just put it that way. I thought I was gonna be a teacher. I think there are many different ways that people get into this profession, whether people, can get into private nature centers like Chippewa Nature Center. We're not associated with any kind of government funding, which has its pluses and minuses. We get more freedom to do what we want to do. We don't have to rely on our taxpayers to fund us. But that being said, we need to find funding elsewhere. Or people go into like state parks, national parks would be another way, or even museums. So geographically speaking, I mean, a lot of people think out west, to go out, there's this westward thing that people want to see mountains. So definitely a lot of people go into this profession thinking they're going to be working in the Rocky Mountains or in Seattle somewhere and the mountains and the ocean there. But I think these professions, it can happen anywhere. And actually I've worked with people that went out west, did their thing there, and then came back to the Midwest because of family or because of actually they just like what we have here, the diversity of plants and animals. Water is something that out west does not have, lakes and rivers. So yeah, it can be done anywhere, but I like it in the Midwest, so.
Is there anything you know about the topic of environmental rights?
Yeah, so environmental rights, the Nature Center, we're kind of a little different in the fact that our mission is to connect all people to nature. So through educational, recreational, and cultural experiences. And so what you're talking a little bit, you're leaning toward the advocacy role of things, the politics of the environment, and that's actually something that the Nature Center has chosen to stay out of, which is a little interesting. But if you think about politics as being a polarizing issue, when you're trying to meet all people, when you throw politics into there, you lose some people. So we're trying to connect all people to nature, and then hopefully through connecting people to nature, through programs, through our trails, through our visitor center, and making people love the resource, love the environment, that hopefully down the line they're inspired to be stewards, and then to do their research, vote accordingly, in promoting laws that help improve our environment. So that's I kind of skirted that question a little bit, but we don't do a lot about the rights and the laws.
Okay.
But we do get people questions, a lot of things about what do I have a nuisance animal, what can I do with it? And so that's where we might be the first contact, and then we can route them to either a conservation officer with the DNR, or sometimes even U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which does protections on, migratory birds, bald eagles, that kind of thing.
So what is something we can do to help the environment?
Yeah, so you guys are already kind of doing it already. Learning about it, learning about different careers, volunteering, getting involved as much as you can, getting out there and experiencing the environment, and then hopefully passing that love on to either friends of yours or, family members, but really, volunteering, learning, getting involved. The Nature Center does offer volunteer experiences. With COVID, we're a little tricky right now, as you guys are all sitting there with your masks on, you can imagine. But we do things like tree plantings and river cleanups, trail cleanups. Invasive species is a big thing. One of our big environmental issues is plants being brought in to this area that just take off and then, outcompete our native things. So we do polls where people go out and pull those plants to remove them. So yeah, lots of different things.
I think we're good. That's pretty much what we had.
Excellent.
Thank
I heard you guys are learning about the Flint River, so a little bit different, yeah?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay.
Well, thank you for coming out and talking to us. It's a big help.
Yeah, no problem. Glad we can make it work out. Best of luck on your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, come see us at the Nature Center.
Okay,
Good.
bye.
Bye.